So everybody, I wanted to introduce you now to the woman that I was talking about with Tammy, who had an incident, a couple incidents actually happened the day after the first rally for Ronnie Cole. And her name is Elisa, and I want to bring her in now. And thank you for being here, Elisa, to talk about what you witnessed and what you videoed.
Of course. My pleasure.
So you are from Mariposa?
I grew up in the area, yeah.
Okay, great. So you were there at the first rally, and so I wanted to basically kind of start about how this video came about, and then when it basically right before you started the video.
Okay, so yeah, we had the rally. We had the 4-day rally. We were there for 1 day, showing the support, and then by day 2, we were having breakfast. I ended up by myself waking up, and then I went and had a cup of coffee, and I brought out my water, and then a cop had pulled up to me, and he asked me while I was sitting there, what am I doing? And then I told him, please, leave me alone. And he took it to offense. He said, there's no reason to be mean, and he thought I was weird. I'm sorry, I thought it was weird that, he said it was weird that my cup was styrofoam. And that was where he went off of. And then I told him again, I'm like, can you please leave me alone? And then after that, he's like, hey, I'm all nice here. He's like, I guess I'll leave you alone then. And so after that, I'm like, okay, that's weird. I'm ready to get up and leave. I walk across the street, and there's another one. Boom. Right as soon. So he's seen what happened, and he got me again. So at that point, I pulled out my phone, and I was like, no, I'm going to record this. This doesn't feel right. I should not be cornered right now, along with every other pedestrian. They're just getting me. So I started recording, and then he just wanted to tell me why he thought he needed to know who I was. And I pretty much just gave him my rights. You do not need to know. I have no crime right now. There's nothing for you to protect me from either. So you do not need to be talking to me. I didn't want anything to do with the police officers up there, especially during a rally where there's a confess and then there's no arrest.
Right, and so you shot some video. It's about 1 minute and 10 seconds long. Let's go ahead and take a look at that video now, okay? So everybody stand by.
Like 10 minutes, I am literally like walked across the street.
No, I got you.
So what do you mean, what's up?
I said, what's going on?
What is going on? I can't walk? What is the problem?
Nothing. There's no problem.
Then why are you guys keep bothering me?
No bothering you.
Yes, you are. You are pulling up to me.
No, so you were sitting there.
Yes,
I'm
allowed to sit.
Relax.
There's no
Everything's
crime going on. Then why are you guys
so am I
bugging
allowed
me?
to talk to somebody on the street?
Well, why?
Why are you getting so offensive?
It's because you guys don't have to keep talking to
I've
me.
never seen you before.
That's cool. You don't have to know who I am. It's not your business. There's no crime right
you're
here.
in my county?
There's
Yes,
no
it is.
crime going on right here. I'm
Never said there
walking
was.
with water. That is fine. This is a tourist town. I should be allowed to sit where I want and walk where I want. Thank you. Okay, so thank you. Have a good day.
You're sitting over there, and then all of a sudden you're standing at the corner.
I'm not looking lost. Thank you very much. Come on. Oh my God. You have a good day. That's fucking crazy. What the hell?
Oh, wow. Just, and from there you just kind of walked away. And what happened after that?
I continued recording on my phone for a little bit because I was scared that another one was going to get me because I just didn't understand why it was one after another. Are you okay? Come on, you're lost. Like he's arguing with me rather than, hey, you okay? Yes, sir, I am. And then he moved along. But no, he was trying to convince me that I was lost. Picking the most childish elementary things I've ever heard somebody sit there and argue about in a tourist town or any other town.
Now, I have a couple of questions. One is the first, you said this happened just before this other officer. Was it a matter of minutes? Was it 10 minutes? Was it 20 minutes? Or was it a minute or two?
So that officer had talked to me for about 3 minutes. I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm leaving. Like, I will go. And then I walked literally from, what is it? I can't think of it right now, but it's a gas station. I walked literally right across the street. And from there, he instantly, I was like, right there, pulled me over. What's going on? I'm like, what do you mean is going on? You know, I'm trying to start my thing and then start our rally, and you guys are trying to just mess with me.
So you did feel like it seemed to be an attempt at somebody to dissuade you or prevent you or just kind of intimidate you, I should say, into not attending the rally. Or
I just feel like it was just weird to me because they were using the most youngest thing to, I just think it's weird that your cup is styrofoam. You know, what is up with that? And I'm like, that's where it cleared. I'm like, okay, you are clearly having a problem with yourself here. He's picking at something that I know he did see, you know. Some people maybe have fallen for that, and they're like, no way, I'm in trouble for a styrofoam cup, being in a tourist town, yada, yada, yada. But that's not a crime, and that is not helping me anyway. So I'm good.
yeah, I gotta say, right from the outset, when the deputy stopping you. Anyways, I mean, he doesn't know you. He doesn't need to know you. There's tons of officers who live or who work in where I reside who don't know me. They don't go pulling me over on the street because they don't know me. That's absolutely. I mean, that's. They can't stop you in the streets like that, and they better watch out. They're going to pull over the wrong person. They're going to get sued up the yin yang.
He did not know I had that recorded.
Yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous. And if they're doing that to citizens there, I don't know. I found it creepy, honestly. It sounded like he was trying to hit on you, kind of. To me,
he was trying, what's up, you know?
Yeah, like he's trying to exert his, authority, and then for you to come back at him like, you want nothing to do with him, regardless of him being a cop or not. He just seemed to take offense to you not bowing to his authority or to his cool looking car with lights on the top of it.
And the fact that he said, this is my town, and I don't know who you are, and I want to know who you are. And I said, it's not your business who I am. There's no crime. Again, you are not here to help me, So I figured you need to leave me alone, and this is now harassment. There's no way you guys are coming all around me for what?
Yeah, because I think the deputy got it wrong, and I think Breezy, the new deputy that they promoted to sheriff in that department, boy, oh boy, oh boy, that's like promoting the Riddler to Batman. So yeah, this deputy definitely needs some reprimanding. Needs to be told and help to understand where his authority begins and ends. He also needs to understand and realize that he is in a tourist town, and a video like this does not look well on a tourist town. Imagine the men and women who walk across this, from one place to the other, and he doesn't know. How many of them is he going to stop and accost as well? Who would want to stop in a town like that?
Right. So in the very end of the video, you can see me holding on to the video just in case I felt, they're going to come back by now. I walk right past another pedestrian. And so it's just, it's just weird that, like, what about her,
Yeah.
But my daddy taught me my rights, so.
You were targeted. You were definitely targeted.
Yes, I was.
Yeah, I don't doubt that. I'm sorry this happened to you. I hope that the deputy will be at least apologetic if he does see you again, and does come forward and just apologizes at least and leaves it at that. Doesn't try to go any further. Be civil and do your job, because the city does not belong to you. The county does not belong to you. It belongs to the people, which means Alisa as well. Yeah, I apologize on behalf of the deputy, since he hasn't yet. Hopefully he will. And then if he does, then you can let me know, and we'll put it out there about how amazing this gentleman is. And if he doesn't, then, well, we know he's an asshole.
Yep.
I say that out loud. Sorry about that. Anyways, stick around, everybody. We got a lot more coming for you. Tammy and I are going to be talking to Wagner Fulco, and it's going to blow your minds. And you stick around too, Elisa.
Yep, you got it.
All right, everybody, just like Tammy and I promised, a great holiday special show and a very wonderful special guest, Mr. Wagner Fulco, music producer extraordinaire, joining us from the East Coast. How are you doing, Wagner?
Doing great. Waiting for the holidays to arrive.
Are you expecting a lot of presents?
Computer rebuilding here. Yeah, I mean, I'm filling up the trees with presents. Just excited to open them. It's kind of hard to wait for the whole month. Walking by the tree and wait for the whole month to open gifts.
Absolutely. And Tammy made some wonderful ornaments. We received ours, and they're just fantastic. There's these little toilet paper rolls, and they're just so creative and wonderful. A great job on that, by the way, Tammy. Those were awesome. Just really
Thank you.
reflects the times.
Yeah, I'm so glad that you guys really liked them and are enjoying them. That's what brought me to that ornament, was just because when this whole thing first started, you could not find toilet paper anywhere, not even online.
And so it goes to Wagner's point that we're passing by the Christmas tree, and never, ever before have we wished for a roll of toilet paper for Christmas. Though some Christmases we did get them. I know I did. And those silly gifts. Anyways, to Wagner, behind you, you look like you've got some kind of a magic museum showroom going on back there. That's like Disneyland for musicians, I see, right?
Yeah, I can give you a little spin around so you can see what's going on here.
Oh my gosh! So
computer desk with the console where I try to do my music. Then I have some work that I've done back there on the wall, and then guitars. More guitars, viola, kind of like a violin. More guitars.
Does the puppy? Wow!
The dog.
Oh my gosh, gorgeous!
My studio assistant. And then I have more guitars. And then I made this one here for a show that I can tell you a little bit more later. This guitar.
Wow.
Make something crazy. So this is what I came up with. And then I have more guitar here too. And a bunch of guitar around the house.
Now, you look like you had a booth in there too. Is that a booth also facing you in front, or is that just another room in there for other stuff?
No, it's just another room, yeah.
Okay. So you said something about you made guitars?
Yeah, well, I started to think. I used to love playing Ibanez guitar because of the neck being so thin, and then it was just it suited well to my guitar playing. But I was never very happy with the sound of it. The Ibanez, usually because of the small amount of wood that I put on the guitar, it doesn't have much sustain. It's not that fat sounding. So I start to explore other possibilities. So I came across the Fender guitars, the Strats, but the Strats, I can't play a guitar without Floyd Rose. It needs to have Floyd Rose. So and Floyd and Fender, they do very few models with Floyd Rose. So I start to, after dealing with luthiers for a while, I ended up, getting tired of it and just putting the work myself, and start to buy tools and buy more tools and buy the guitars, and just like thinking of the wood of the guitar, like how the the body would be, and then I would buy pickups and Floyd Rose, and I would install it myself and tweak and change and mold it to the way that I like. So I ended up building my guitars.
Very nice. That's amazing. So you mentioned that luthiers, you've worked with some, and they don't really understand the guitar in a way that a player does most of the time, because they don't really put their focus or learning so much on their training. So I was wondering, do you find that you have to be a little more cognizant of when you're working with a luthier to ensure that they're actually hitting those specs that you need as an artist, or that you're looking to get out of that instrument a tone or something?
See, well, I think that the luthier, they usually, are pretty set in their minds to set up a guitar on the conventional way, I guess, or the traditional bluesy players and something more organic playing. So when you go towards the virtuoso guitar playing, there's not many people out there that really sees guitar that way. So the ones that I got some pretty good luthier to work with. I got luthier that works with all a lot of major stars and a lot of major guitar players, but it's still the guitar would come back to me not right. And you can say, well, then you're not luthier, so how can you tell?
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
I can tell because after coming back from the luthier and I put my work on, then the guitar became what I was expecting to be. So I discovered that more than nobody, I know what the guitar needs to be. So that's when I started to put the work myself on it.
I think that a lot of issues with the guitar builds, like you're speaking of, like the Ibanez or the Fenders, because I myself am a big fan of the Ibanez 7 strings. But with the Ibanez and the Gibsons, and the Fenders and things like that, they're more of like mass build, so they're not very personalized, to the musician's ear or to how the musician enjoys to play the guitar or the feel of the guitar. They're more geared towards just mass production and get them out. Yeah. So which is kind of sad, because I've heard some beautiful guitars that are not mass produced like that, and I would love to hear some of your guitars that you've personally made one of these days.
Yeah. And I ended up, buying I ended up spending a lot of money buying things to try to figure out which one is good, which one is bad. And I'm going to tell you something that is interesting that I discovered. If you look right, if you know what you're looking for, you end up buying the price doesn't really translate to good quality. Because I found online these guitar pickups that are very cheap, very inexpensive, and so far is one of the best guitar pickups that I have on all my guitars. And I have Seymour Duncan, I have all the major brands, and I found this one just because it looked cool, and I was like, let me try this one. They're so cheap, so what can I do? Just trash it, screw it, or you just return it if you don't like it. So I ended up buying 4 pairs of it because it was so great.
That's awesome.
Oh, God. So tell us.
And I keep looking back, and I'm like, I should buy more just to keep safe in case they don't make it anymore.
So tell us, how many of these guitars do you take out? Because you sometimes go out on the road. You're out there on tour. How many of these guitars do you take out at a time on the road with you? And does it depend on the musician or the genre of music you're trying to?
Well, I have to, regardless of where I'm gonna play, I always have to take at least 2 guitars. So it's always 2 plus. The reason why it's because of since I use Floyd Rose on all my guitars. That means if a string breaks, it's a little bit more complicated to switch strings on the fly or anything that happens. So minimum, I need 2 guitars just to have a backup. But you know, if it's a bigger tour, internationally, it's a little bit more complicated. But I try to take at least 3 or 4 guitars internationally.
Yeah. No, I'm sure you've had some pretty interesting occurrences on stage when you've been performing with your guitars. Can you give us maybe the most craziest happening with your instrument that made you go, oh my gosh, and you know, maybe stuck on a backup or something? So anything crazy happen on stage like that with equipment?
Actually, I never really have any problem on the stage. I did have awkward situations, you know, on the stage, like the guitar tech giving you the wrong guitar.
And what do you do? What do you do?
Well, you gotta play, you know, or the guitar tech. You ask the guitar tech to take some pictures, and then he takes a bunch of pictures of your back.
Oh God! You can show mom. Look, that's my ass, mom. I was on stage.
Yeah, so you never see yourself from the front of the stage, so you only see your back. I did have once a complicated situation that now that I remember, I was playing with this Brazilian artist in a big concert in Brazil, and then everything was great, sound check was great, everything was awesome. Then when I went on the stage, when the artist was gonna walk in, so that was like pretty much 2 or 3 minutes before the artist walks into the stage. So it was just time enough for me to go on the stage, set myself, you know, get the guitar and be ready to start the show. And then somehow the wires from my guitar amp unplugged. And then I turn on the guitar and everything, check the pedals and no sound, no nothing. And I was like, what's going on? Because everything is connected. The light is through, you know, the amp has got light going, everything's got, like, you would never expect that the wire from the guitar, from the amp is not connected. There was a weird, 2 minutes that lasted like 2 hours.
Yeah, not a fun experience for sure. Oh my God. So let me ask you. So you've been out on the road. What's the longest you've been out on the road for on tour?
I'm sorry. So I got a phone call here.
You need to take it? Do you need to take it?
No. It's just
okay.
You cut off your audio.
No problem. So, tell me, what was the longest time you've spent out on tour, out on the road?
The longest time was 3 months. And
during that time, what was? There's got to be some crazy times out on tour.
Yeah.
So I hear some laughing.
I'm going with that.
Okay. So now we got to dig into this a little further because you know we're investigative here on our podcast. So
I won't say names though.
When we hear those wicked laughs, we want to hear all the details. Okay. So,
but I won't say names. I'll tell you crazy stories, but I won't say names.
Okay. If a name does pop out, we promise maybe to bleep it. We did say maybe.
He said maybe. Don't forget he said maybe.
Okay, so give us the dirt. We want to hear
it. All right, so going on tour in the US, it was a little bit crazy because to me it was pretty much the first time that I got to see America, you know. So I was in California, and then that's when the first time that I was exploring United States, because we went to pretty much every state in America. So one thing that I found interesting, it's like we left California, Los Angeles, and as I was going, like picture west to east, and let's draw like a straight line between, you know, the two coasts. So the more I would reach the center of the United States, I felt like musically I was going back on time. Yeah. From the radio stations, I was like, as you keep moving, the radios start. You have to listen to the local radios. So I kind of felt like I was, and it literally felt like probably like every 1,000 miles, not 1,000 miles, less, like every, I don't know, every something mile, I would go back 1 year.
Texas is really good for that, by the way.
So by the time I got to the middle of the U.S., then it was like, wow, I'm about 10 years behind in music here. and then, which is cool, it was a good, flashback. It's cool to hear some of the tunes again and some of the stuff again. And then the more I approached New York, the genre started to change, but still, it was starting to get back to the up to date. So, and then, now I live in Florida, and I can tell you that it's really hard to hear a new song on the radio.
You mentioned you live in Florida now. My boyfriend actually lived in Key West, Florida for, a long time. It's absolutely beautiful out there.
I haven't been to the Key West. I know, I've seen news about it, and it looks interesting. It looks very nice. But I'm here in Orlando, so I'm more Central Florida.
Go ahead. Sorry.
It's a little bit more, I guess, modern, I would say, in the sense of information, because there's so much tourism in Orlando. So you kind of see a little bit more happening, but it's still not there. I still feel like I'm in the countryside. Sometimes I feel like I'm in the countryside living, compared to living in Hollywood, where every second there is something happening. You are like a phone call away from something amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. I can totally agree with that. So, with you moving to Florida, then, do you think that you're missing out on some, some work, or?
So my move to Florida was intentionally. So I didn't even know that Florida is the retirement state of the world.
Gotcha.
But I wanted to take things slower. I felt like Los Angeles, to me, I would wake up and look at my watch and go have breakfast, then blink my eyes, it was already time to go for dinner. Yep. And then blink my eyes, and it was already the next day. Yeah. So things were going way too fast with all this commotion that the Hollywood life provides to you. It makes everything goes way too fast. So then I decided to find a place where I still have, or I don't know if you've been here to Orlando, but I still have a great amount of entertainment and things to do in the city. But you still have, I live in a very peaceful neighborhood. Mm-hmm. We have a golf course, so it's very like a resort style sort of. Everything is resort in Florida, anyways.
Yeah, absolutely. So, did you ever go out? Now, I know that probably most of Snoop's stuff is pre-recorded, but did you ever go out with Snoop on tour?
No, we did a couple of shows in Los Angeles. So DJ Ski, I'm not sure if you know who that is. Mm-hmm. He and I decided to put this show together called Ski Talks. And then you can probably find some of the stuff on YouTube. And the Ski Talk show, basically what it was like DJ Ski, he would spin the a cappella of the songs. So we had no singer, but we did have a full band backing those songs. And then we would do live mashups, and we would play just like a DJ do, just leave pieces and bits of the song, like one verse, one chorus, and move on and connect to another song and connect to another song and keep connecting, and just like the DJ would mix music in the nightclub.
Mm-hmm.
So we did that with live bands and no singer, just the record as an a cappella. So then, because of our connections, DJ Ski and we had few connection in the industry. So we started inviting people to feature in our show, but we could never really tell anybody who was coming.
Right, yeah.
Because every time that we invited someone, they're like, "Okay, I will try to make it."
Yeah, that's the way it is too. You never know who's coming to those, high-profile events.
Yeah, because they have so much going on that it's like it's not paid. It's nothing that is a major thing for them. So to go as a friend, having fun, they would just not able to tell, "Oh, I'm coming for sure." So we could never say who was gonna come to the show because they could not show up.
Yeah.
And then we start. So one of the times we had Snoop Exhibit, and a few other people, and it's crazy because I've played with a lot of rockers. I worked with a lot of rockers from the industry, but I have to say that the time that I was more rock and roll ever was with Snoop, believe it or not.
And what do you mean by that? What do you mean more rock and roll than ever? What do you mean?
Well, that's like when you play a guitar, which is a pretty rock instrument, for the most of it, and you're playing with someone that is a hip hop artist. You probably would not imagine that you would do, much of a distortion guitar, for instance, or you would not go to rock that much. But it was funny because I punched the guitar like it was the biggest sound guitar ever that I had on stage for the whole performance time. It was so crazy that Snoop looked at me and said, "Man, you were so great on the guitar. I love it. I wish you would be in my band. But if I put you in my band, everybody's gonna be looking at you and not gonna look at me."
Oh, that's great. So
Yeah.
Working with Snoop, did you ever get to meet his brother Bing, by the way?
No, I never met his brother.
That's the guy that I used to do a little hanging out with, and he was a lot of fun. We would go to the clubs, and oh my gosh, he'd walking right in and VIP thing, the whole 9 yards. He was the one that actually told me that, because Snoop is the big thing about Long Beach and stuff like that. Snoop didn't actually perform in Long Beach till just a few years ago, live. And I was like, "What, really?" I mean, and he's like, "Yeah, it's just because he took off, he blew up so quickly, and he did so many shows all over the place. Obviously, when you guys did that, go ahead."
I was going to say, what you're saying is very interesting, and I think it happens to a lot of artists because most likely you're not going to be recognized in your community. You're only going to be recognized in your community because in your community, you are annoying, you are loud, you are crazy, you are unwanted. So then you have to go and pursue your career outside, and then once you blow up, then your community is like, "Oh yeah, he's from here."
Yeah, exactly. Then they take you all arms in, yes, that's our guy. But before then, they were like, "Get the hell out of here."
Exactly.
Wow. So, what are you doing for Christmas?
I'm just gonna stay at home and open gifts and have a full day of eating turkey and all the Christmas goodies. With this COVID, I'm not planning to do much. I'm trying to stay away from trouble.
Yeah. You got to. Yeah, just for now. I mean, things we just don't know. I mean, it's just.
Yeah, it's not worth it to put yourself on risk. Sometimes I see people online fighting to do craziness, and it's like, man, you have your whole life to go crazy. Wait until for a month or two. Come on.
Yeah, and then we can all go to concerts and get as crazy as we want. finally. So that would be good. Tammy, do you have anything else for Wagner?
No, just that I was super excited to hear you talk about Snoop Dogg because he is my idol. I'm not even gonna lie, that guy is freaking amazing.
Yeah, he's an icon.
He really is. He has paved the way for a lot of artists that are in R&B and rap artists, in the hip hop type of industries, and I have idolized that guy since the very first time I heard Lottie Dottie. So I mean, he's just great.
And he's an amazing person too. He's in person. He's definitely an amazing person. He's not like a lot of celebrities. Some of them, they just have changed personality in person.
Yep.
But he's definitely a very true, real guy. But I know that last time when I was talking to you, Matt, we made I promised you that I was going to tell you a crazy story about the road. Yep. On the road situation.
Yep. Yeah.
Time I want to tell you that story.
Okay. All right. Here we go. Everybody, buckle in.
Actually, you just asked me, and then I started talking, and then we ended up switching the subjects. But let's go back to that. What happened on the road?
Yes.
All right. So first, before I start, I'm gonna try not to use names. And second, how rated is your audience?
Oh man, we are completely triple, quadruple X here. Can
I go blonde on the words, or I have to restrain myself?
Oh no, no. We're all adults 100%
here. Yourself.
All right. So between my on the road situations, there's this little town, and as far as I remember, it was between Washington D.C. and Philadelphia. Somewhere there was this one venue that we had to play 2 days because it was a Wednesday show, and then Thursday was Thanksgiving, and there was no gigs for them, and then Friday was the actual show, the main event. So somehow we were gonna play two days. It was the only place we played 2 days at the same place. So when we arrived, there was this crazy guy. So we usually had like 4 person assigned to help carry the instruments and set up the stage and do the heavy work. So every venue provided us with 4 guys. So this time there was only 1 guy.
Uh-oh.
And then we looked at this guy and we're like, okay, so it's a lot of stuff you're gonna carry by yourself. Where's your help? Mm-hmm. It's like, no, it's cool, man. It's cool. I'm used to this. I'm doing it. And he was very like hyper speaking. I said, yeah, man, I'm gonna do this. Yes, don't worry about it. I'm gonna do it. I'm ready. Let's do it. I'll do it. Okay, go ahead. Help yourself. So after everything was unloaded, he looked at me, and I was on the way to the hotel. And he looked at me and said, hey, what kind of woman do you like? And I'm like, the one that is a woman? Why are you asking me that? And he's like, well, but you like blonde, you like brunette. You know what? Don't worry about it. I got you. I'm going to be bringing some girls for everybody. I got you. Don't worry. So I said, okay. So I go to the hotel. And then on the evening, when I come back from the hotel to the gig, to the venue, this guy was there. And then I remember, at that point, I had forgotten already. I was like, yeah, the guy was just, blowing out smokes and just talk. But so I saw the guy again. He, of course, because he had the VIP pass and he was walking. And then there was one girl with him. And so I looked at the girl and I was like, okay, he was going to bring girls for everybody. I don't see girls anywhere, right? So And I looked at the girl, I was like, I hope that's not for me. So then these girls start walking around, and he kept saying, yeah, no, there'll be more girls coming. More girls are gonna be coming to the show, and blah blah blah. Don't worry about it. It's gonna be fun. So the time developed, and everything happened that was supposed to happen. And this guy and that girl was walking around on the backstage, and nobody else showed up. It was only him and the girl. Then, once in a while, she would just walk around and just flash.
Okay.
And then we got to a point that everybody was like, yeah, fuck it, whatever. So then, the night ends. We're supposed to go back to the hotel. And on that particular place, we had one entire floor for the crew and band and everything. So as we walk, so the last ones to go back to the hotel was the bass player and I. And as we walked to the hallway, we heard some noise, like a party noise, coming from down the hallway. And then we walked there to see what was happening, and it was the drum tech room. So when we opened the door, it was like all these the guys. The only person that was not there that had nothing to do with anything was the main artist. So that guy, he was pretty serious with his business. He was just doing whatever he needs to do. But the entire crew was sitting back there, and everybody with their pants down. And this girl, do you guys remember that movie, Something About Mary? Remember Something About Mary when Ben Stiller, he's supposed to meet, I think Mary comes to his house.
Yeah.
And then, and she had the hair. Remember that?
My God, no.
It was pretty much this girl, and she looked at me and she was like all messed up, and I was like, oh my God, that's disgusting.
Oh, good Lord.
Now, this girl, man, she looked at me and she's like, I want you too.
Oh, no.
No, you don't.
No. Are you sure?
Then I start, she comes in my direction, and I walk out of the room, and this girl is naked with her hair like that and her face all messed up. And she's running. And then now I'll give you another reference. Remember Borat, the first one?
Yeah.
When they're running in the hotel, him and the manager, they're fighting naked. So that happened. Happened.
Oh my God.
So this girl running after me. Oh, I don't want to be that graphic, but so I'm gonna say, looked up.
Oh God, no.
And I run to my room. I was like, fuck, I'm not gonna be able to because it's a hotel hallway. How far can you go? It's not gonna be enough time to hide from this woman and close the door. So she comes in, and I slam the door, and I put the little chain behind the door, and she pushes it. I was like, fuck, this shit's gonna break.
My God, you were being attacked by a semen-crazed woman.
She's a diehard groupie. My gosh.
It was literally a sea woman. There's a seaman.
Oh my gosh, that was too funny. Oh my God. Oh man, I've heard some stories before.
So then all that happened, and then I ran. Just before,
wait a minute. There's more to this.
Well, there's the key point of the whole story. So here's the key point of the whole story. When I walked into the room and saw all that scene, the shocking scene. The guy that was supposed to bring the girls was laying on the bed naked, and this girl naked, and so he's sitting there and he says, "Hey, Wagner, come on in. This is all family. We are having fun. There's no problem. It's all clean. She's my wife."
Oh my God! It's his wife. What the?
Oh, no. I'm like, oh, okay, that makes it all safe.
Right, it makes it all better. Yeah, it's my wife. It's okay.
Oh, why didn't you say that before then?
Oh no.
So then the next day in the tour bus, everybody was making fun of me, like, Wagner was running from the girl.
Oh my God.
And I was like, yes. Wagner is a loser. He was running from the girl.
I wouldn't mind being that loser. That's fine. Oh, jeez.
That's like it almost sounds like they all had like a major reach around circle like going on in there.
Yeah.
I don't understand what's happening.
The band that plays together literally stays together.
Yeah. Man, that was something. That was like, and I never told that story much because I can't really expose anybody, but also it's not the sort of story that you want to paint in the picture of an interview or anything.
It's actually a great story for Christmas time. It kind of adds elements to that whole white Christmas thing. Wow, that was a pretty amazing story, to say the least.
Yeah. So now, tell me, now since you like Snoop, I'll tell you a little bit of something that happened between Snoop and I. Nothing dirty though.
Oh.
So I had my studio in LA at the time, and it was pretty busy. And one day, Ski was shooting a music video for one of his artists in the studio. So my secretary called me and she said, "Okay, Wagner, we have this lot for today." And at that point I already had some issues with the neighbors because my studio was in a residential neighborhood, and people didn't like me.
You were loud.
So things were loud. It was kind of like a car show outside my house every day. You would see all the craziest Lamborghini, Ferraris, and Bentleys coming in and out all the time. So one of these times, when for this particular day, Ski was shooting a music video, there was a truck with the equipment. There was the crew. There was a lot of people. So I had already got a phone call saying, "Hey, there's too much happening in your house right now." People were not happy already. There was a lot of people there. And I on that day, I was out of town. I was in San Francisco. So, and then in a couple of hours, my secretary called me and said, "Hey, Snoop wants to come to the studio." And I was like, "But the studio is booked and is packed." And it's like, "Well, there should be finishing, but nevertheless, Snoop usually likes to stay, when there's not many people around. He brings his own people. He usually fills out the house himself with his entourage." So he said, "No, it's cool," because he knew Ski too. And then I was like, "No, we are family. Everybody knows each other here. Everything's cool." It's like, okay. So on that point, I completely forgot the possibility that Snoop would come with so many more people to the house. When I was approaching my house that night, I couldn't drive my car in my neighborhood.
Wow.
There was so many people on my house surrounding. There was no place to drive, even to drive through the car with the car. You had to park. I had to park my car 2 blocks away from my house because you could not come through. It reminded me of this one movie where they have like these 3 kids. They throw a party in a house in Pasadena, I think it was, and then I think Project X, I think it's called the movie. And then they ended up with the father's car inside the pool, and like so many people that showed up, and it was the craziest party. I kind of felt like the same way because there was just way too many people. The entire neighborhood, and my neighbors, they wanted to kill me. They wanted to kill me so much that I get on the a few days later, I get a phone call from LAPD, one of the the top guys in the police department. The guy called me on my cell phone. I was hiking in Hollywood Hills there, and I get a phone call, and the guy, hi, is this Wagner? I say, yeah. Who's this? And I was like, this is so and so from LAPD. I was like, LAPD calling on my cell phone.
Right. Uh-oh.
And then the guy like, okay, so here's the story. I'm gonna go straight to the point. I've looked you up. You seem like a very accomplished guy. It seems like you've done a lot of things, and it seems like you're a very cool person. Congratulations for your career and everything. But I had to say, you have some neighbors that hate you, and some of them are very powerful, and they want you out of there.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
All because of Snoop Dogg and his entourage.
Well, I can't really blame him because there was so many people that would show up. I had Akon came many times. There was Snoop. There was Alice in Chains. There was when Alice in Chains came. Like every day there was a different rock band that would show up, like Iron Maiden, Scorpions. Like all their friends would show up every day to the house, and I was like, Guns N' Roses. I was like, wow, this is like a band parade.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow, man. Imagine being in a fly on that wall during those recording sessions, huh?
I wish I could have been. That's for sure, because he just named off a lot of my favorite bands.
So Wagner, what happened to the studios, by the way?
Well, then with that situation happening, more and more, I had to be more low key with the studio. I had to try to control the noise and other stuff. So I had to restrict the amount of people and that I would have in the studio at the same time. At the same time, it was around 2009 when the economy crashed. So between 2009 2010, things start to go pretty weird financially for the artists. And more and more the budgets were smaller and smaller and smaller.
Yeah.
So it got to the point that I took a break in the studio live. I said, I'm going to stop here before it gets too late. Ended up reopening again in a new location, the studio. But then, worked for a couple of years, and then I said, you know what? I think it's time that the industry is not going anywhere anymore. I need to change, directions. And that's when I came to Florida.
Nice. Wow. So, and then no more White Christmases either.
No.
Okay, good. Oh man. So wow, just what very interesting stories. Incredible career though too, Wagner. Congratulations, man. A lot of work.
Thank you.
And I'm sure a lot of people can hear a lot of your work on several songs by these artists who recorded in your studios. Of course, they use their engineers and they use a lot of their producers, but also you were involved in some of those mixes as well.
Well, it was always involved with the everything that came to my studio, because one of the things is that one of the things that made my people like my place is that besides being the owner, I was a full hand engineer and producer. So I was always working with whoever came, and they could notice the difference between working with me and working with one of my guys. You know, they were awesome, but they were apprentices, you know, and people that work in the studio, they're learning, they're, you know, hustling to try to become someone. But it takes time, you know. It's not something that you acquire from a day to another. You need some hours.
Yeah, absolutely. Tammy, you have any follow-up questions?
No, I enjoy listening to the stories. It's freaking awesome.
Which story? Which story did?
I guess she's shocked with the first story, and then she's like speechless now.
I'm not as shocked as you would think that I am. I also, I grew up in the music industry, not as prominent, obviously, as you, but I've seen some stuff on my own time, too. I was a roadie for a band that actually did a lot of tours for a while by the name of Crypt Orchid. I was also a roadie, and I used to help set up for an opening band that used to open for POD quite often.
Right.
You know, so I see the little groupies, and I know what they're all about.
But you can tell me the truth. The first story, like right now, you're like, okay, let's not ask anything anymore. Let's extend this conversation because it can go really bad.
Yeah, that was the easy story there, right? That was the not so crude one, but yeah. No, yeah. What a great life, though, and what a great career you've led, Wagner. I'm just amazed at all the success you've had, as well as our mutual friends, Damir Simic. You've seen some of his work, maybe Alan Slavica. Remember Alan from Guitar Center? He used to be up in accessories.
I think, yeah.
Yeah, and
so she's been doing some stuff too.
Yeah, he's been out in his native country of Croatia, and been still involved in his music. He's actually got a new song and music video out with his daughter. It's actually really nice. And then Damir, remember Damir Simic? Yeah. He's got a school that he's started in his native country, and he's teaching the newest and greatest rock musicians in his area, and it's really amazing to see all that you guys have all done. Wow, so proud of all you guys, and I'm just so blessed to have met you, because each of you have had a positive experience on my life. You taught me many things about myself, and I really appreciate all that you've done, for me and for the world with sharing your music and your creativity. Thank you.
My pleasure, man. It's always great to talk to you and see you again. It's always like it brings back the times that we would be walking around Guitar Center and try to fight for a deal and get a customer on, get to sell something. I remember the guys coming from accessories fighting with us on Pro Audio for selling a cable.
Yeah, not putting them on the deal for 25 or 50%, right?
Yeah.
Oh God. Well, again,
I remember one thing too. I remember every time that I see your name on Facebook or something, that I remember about you. And there's one thing that always pops up in my mind. You probably don't remember that, but the first time that I talked to you, you were introduced as Matthew Gonzalez, right? And I was like, oh, great, someone that speaks Spanish.
Yeah, no.
Someone that is a little warmer to have to talk to in this place. It's gonna be easier for me to talk, because at the time, the previous conversation we had, I mentioned to you that my English at the time was horrible when I worked at Guitar Center. So I was like struggling to speak with someone, at least in Spanish, that I still know my language, but it was a little better than English. And I came to you, it's like, oh yeah, so I'm cool, and you speak Spanish too, and you're like, no. And I remember asking you, but your name is Gonzalez. And I'm like, yeah, but I grew up in my family without speaking Spanish.
Oh my God. And it's so embarrassing to have to say that too. It really is. Because by now I should have learned Spanish, I mean, geez. But yeah, I just never did.
I put on your hot
I
seat
can speak a little bit of Spanish, un poquito español.
There you go.
Yeah, un poquito, but a little bit. I spent some time in Puerto Rico. I took Spanish classes in high school, so I know a little bit. It's harder for me to keep up because the language is so fast paced. So if somebody's speaking it to me, it's hard for me to keep up with what they're saying.
So you're doing better than Matthew for now.
And I'm a white girl.
Well, they would say I'm a white Mexican, so oh well, I'm good with it either way.
Talk to your parents.
Yeah, gonna have to have a deep talk with them. Oh gosh, well, thank you again, Wagner, for joining us on the program and sharing some amazing stories and some interesting stories at that. It's always great to talk to you, and I look forward to some things you got coming up in the new year. Can you share anything that we might be?
Yeah, I'm working on this album with a Brazilian artist, Brazilian singer, and that's gonna be a pretty big album for the year because I'm collecting, featuring a lot of other major stars in it, and there's some awesome names that are even right now. I'm casting one of the American names to be in it and to feature. I'm not gonna say the name yet, but it's pretty big.
I understand.
So this is gonna be an amazing album. It's promising a lot. At least it's promising a lot.
Fantastic. Well, I'm really looking forward to it. Tammy, you got any final words for our dear friend before he goes?
I do not. It's been a real pleasure meeting you and hearing some of your stories, and it's been a real opportunity. So I appreciate your time.
My pleasure. Anytime you guys wanna chat, let me know. I'm here.
Yeah, we'll be reaching out next year because we definitely want to find out the name of that artist. So we want to know when that album drops.
As soon as this all seals, and we're ready to go, I will give you all the details with names and release dates and everything.
Awesome.
And then I'm already working on the next project that's also gonna be a very interesting one. I try to make it interesting every time. I don't like to do ordinary work, just make an album that's it. I need a big story behind. So the next one also have a very big story behind it. But next year we catch up on this project that is going to be released right on the beginning of the year.
Okay, well, I'll be touching base with you all throughout next month, bugging you like crazy. Wagner. So I'll be like one of those groupies, but without all the white snow. And so, anyways. Thanks again, Wagner, for joining us. We really appreciate you. And have a very Merry Christmas and a wonderful New Year to you and your family.
Same to you, too. You, Matt, and you, Tammy. Thank you guys for inviting me for the show today. And Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Wagner.
Take care.